Hey everybody, it's Chris Starcheski, the principal at Dudley Middle School, coming at you live for Unlock the Middle segment called Middle Marvels. How are you tonight, my friend?
Hey, Chris, great to see you. And I'm always excited to be part of this segment of our show when we recognize greatness in the classroom. Absolutely a must do for us as we walk away from some of the heavy lifting that we're doing every single day. So, and we're not going to disappoint tonight. We found a true rock star out of Worcester, Massachusetts that we're going to bring on in a few minutes.
That we are. And just so you know, I didn't ignore Dean Packard's name. He's the principal at Charlton Middle School and co-moderator and co-founder of our Unlock the Middle video cast. So, Dean, it's been a short week because we had Labor Day on Monday, but we just had a pretty heavy lift to undertake today. How are you feeling moving into Wednesday?
I'll tell you what, Chris, it's been very interesting to say the least, is now we have to look at our schedules and redefine and really get them ready to go. And we're hoping to get a message out to parents very soon. Hopefully this week, if we can get it all figured out. There are a lot of moving parts here, and it doesn't make it easy for us to ensure that we get everybody what they need, but it's our job to figure it out, and we'll do that. We're problem solvers. We thrive on opportunities like this, and looking forward to seeing what we come up with later tonight as we go back to work again to hit the grind to get it done.
You're absolutely right, hitting the grind. And speaking of grinding, we got a guest tonight who has been grinding for a number of years. This rock star middle-level educator is a K-12 certified art educator in the Worcester City Public Schools. She spent over the last 20 years teaching visual arts at Worcester East Middle School. In 2002, she co-founded Start on the Street, Central Massachusetts' largest arts and music festival that brings over 60,000 people to a one-day cultural event in the city of Worcester. She is an active member of the National Art Education Association, having presented over the past 10 years on both the state and national levels. She's impacting beyond Worcester and beyond our state of Massachusetts. She was named the Massachusetts Art Educator of the Year in 2016. This prestigious award is determined through a peer review of nominations that honors an outstanding art educator from the state. Today, she's still immersed in teaching at the visual arts at Worcester East Middle School. And her most recent project, Dean, is being co-founder of the Creative Hub Worcester, a local nonprofit arts organization that hosts an EEC-licensed arts-based after-school program for youth who may be at risk, and a gallery space that showcases the talent of artists whose voices may not otherwise be heard. Talk about a giver in the classroom, in the community, and beyond. Let's welcome an art educator, Stacy. How are you, Stacy?
I'm very good, thank you. It's very odd hearing all that.
That was an incredible introduction, and if there ever was a middle marvel, Stacy, definitely it is you.
Thank you, thank you,
Welcome
thank you
to
for
our
inviting me. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here.
Stacy, I'm going to kick it off if I could. And you know what? After hearing that bio, I just say to myself, you've done so many things for so many people. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And I hope that's very fulfilling for you. So if you could tell me a little bit about your journey in becoming an educator. What has it been like for you? How many years have you had? Tell me about how this all got started.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. How much time do we have? It all started with my parents. No, literally it does. Both my folks teach. My whole family teach. I come from a family of educators, and being the black sheep growing up, I'm like, nah, I don't want to teach. I mean, my dad teaches college. My mom was a kindergarten teacher. Everyone was in some kind of field of education. And I'm just like, nope, I'm done. I don't want to be in it. And then I just happened to fall into it. And I fell into it by teaching classes at C.C. Lowell's when I was in high school. And then it continued by teaching at the Worcester Art Museum, adult classes. I was teaching youth classes at the craft center. All along, I was still saying no to public school teaching. I didn't want to be an educator in a classroom. I wanted to be an artist. But little did I know that being an artist for me is educating and empowering other people. And that's how I kind of fell into it. So.
My goodness, you've got such great passion and such great outreach. As I was reviewing your bio and your background and talking to a colleague of yours who happens to be, Katie Starcheski, you realize some of the most important lessons come from challenges that you've faced and adversities that you've overcome. Can you talk a little bit about any of those along your journey as an educator?
It's all a mindset. You know, it really is. It's how you look at something. I'm somebody that looks at something and says, oh, you know, why can't I? As opposed to I can't. You know, why can't I apply for this, you know, this program through NASA, you know, to go to Sophia? Why not? If I didn't try, then I would never have done it. If I didn't sit down with a group of friends and say, hey, you know what? Why not bring a big arts party to the street? You know, if we didn't try, then, you know, that's just is something that you miss out on. And I think that's one of the things I teach all my students and my friends, and it's just me, is like, you know, never say no. I rather fail at trying than not trying at all. And you know, and the big challenge is right up here. This is it, basically.
I started a hashtag for myself last year, and it was hashtag the letter Y and the word not. And you know, really, you know, for me, your mindset is really strong and powerful, because it does send a great lesson to the kids that we're mentoring and modeling for. If you don't try it, you'll never get there. And what's the harm in trying? You're going to do something different. It could turn out great.
And it's modeling for people too. You know, I live what I preach. It's, you know, and, you know, my students go through the ups and downs with me as I try new things too. You know, when I was taking the astrophysics class, they were right there with me, quizzing me in my classroom and doing the math problems on the board, and seeing me struggle. I said, there's nothing wrong with people to see you struggle, you know.
You're making it real. And I'll tell you what,
absolutely.
Make it real. I think kids gravitate to that, and they understand it and they appreciate that.
Yep.
Speaking of real, one of the things that we've always asked our teachers that have been on here is, how do you incorporate real life lessons into the curriculum that you teach today? One of the things to make that curriculum just dazzle and make kids want to come back for more.
Oh, I always thought it was my hair, but what is it? I just live it. I bring everything back into my classroom. My projects are based around my students. So I feel the energy. I read the classroom, and I will create projects that will speak to them. My projects always give them a voice, you know, so having the students have a voice in what it is that they're learning, be part of the project is very, very important for them, especially at the middle level. As we all know, it's all about them. So I like to bring that into what I do a little bit. You know, and then the thing is, because I'm so involved in the community, I bring a lot of projects that I'm asked to do into my classroom. You know, I was asked to make a life-size Connect 4 game. So I chose one of my classes, I took the game, I put it on the table, and I'm like, okay, guys, we got to make this life size. And they all sat there, no way, we can't do this. So now they are learning the design process. They're going from, you know, looking at something, ideation, generating those ideas, and then applying them, and then trial and error. What if we use cardboard? Okay, let's kind of work that out. What if we use plywood? Well, miss, I don't know how to use a drill. Well, I'll show you how, you know, but it's things like that. And then having them see it and then use it and then see it out in the public. It's bringing those experiences into them where they can actually touch and feel and smell, you know, touch all the senses.
I kind of want to get up and run through a wall right now. You know, really, you know, we talk about, you know, bringing in enthusiasm and passion to the classroom and the environment, and really striking the core to the kid based on their interest or their challenge that you give them makes them really want some ownership and really autonomy over their own learning. So we've heard a little bit about what makes you tick professionally. What are some of your passions and interests outside the art world or outside the classroom? What is it that keeps you going? What is it that fuels your fire beyond the job?
It's my own artwork. I'm a sculptor, builder. A lot of my artwork is interactive. So the artist, the viewer can actually play with it, move it, touch it. It's all about that experience with art for me. I'm also a very passionate Lego builder. So I have a very large collection of Legos, and I build everything from the Taj Mahal to the old boys club to the Statue of Liberty, you know, you name it. If I just puzzle it out and I put it together.
Wow, cool.
So let me jump in here and say, Stacy, we look at educators and I say, do you have that it factor? Do you have that factor where kids want to be in your class and just gravitate to come to you? And I can see that just by listening to you and as you express all the things you've done. Well, what excites you most about connecting and educating kids? What is that piece of the puzzle?
It's the aha moment. It's that moment that their lights kind of like, their eyes just light up and they let loose, they put their guard down, and they just start creating, and they get it, so their whole day, be it bad or good, just kind of like just strips off of them, and they're just immersed in creating something through collaboration. They're talking to each other. I mean, you get kids will start talking, helping each other out in my classroom by redirecting them. And now there's no more, I can't talk to that one because I don't like them. I'm like, well, you're doing this fantastic, and I'd like you to show them how to do this. Could you go over there, show them, and then I'll be over in a few minutes, to follow up. Peer teaching is a big thing, but it's your passion. It's what you bring in. If you're not excited about what it is that you're teaching, why are your students going to be excited? It's engagement, and being educators, we all know what that means, but can you apply it in your classroom? Can you do it? And it doesn't mean to say that it happens every single day. You try something some days, just life happens, but you want at least 99% of the time that you're engaging those students through something.
Awesome. In Carol Dweck's work, Growth Mindset, there was an example in her text about art, and the challenge was, I'm not an artist. And she had, this in the study, students went through and they drew a self-portrait of themselves initially, and they weren't very flattering. But after, I think it was, 6 weeks of art instruction from an expert art educator, they came back and did the same exercise again. And lo and behold, they had all become artists because they were given the right expert instruction. They learned everything about shading and different elements of drawing, and they were able to go ahead and understand and synthesize all that information. So if you've got the right expert delivering, it's good. But if you've got the right expert delivering with passion, it's better.
Yes.
So that's what I'm hearing tonight with you. You're bringing a game, man. So if you've been in the game of education for 20 plus years now in a formal way at Worcester East, what advice do you have for first year educators coming out of the gate? How do they make an impact, and what do you think they should be focusing on?
The biggest thing is don't get discouraged. There's a lot of talk out there. There's a lot of naysay out there right now with the media and things that we hear. And sometimes it's your family and friends too. But I say, don't get discouraged. Stick with it. It is a tough profession, but it is a profession. And it's one of the most rewarding ones that I know. Think about it. If there were no teachers, then there are no other professions because they wouldn't have been taught. So, it's like, it's a very, very important profession, but, keep your chin up and build yourself a support group, because first year, second year, third year teaching is not easy. We know that. And we're all essentially right now, first year teachers all over again with this remote learning. But it's having a support group. It's being able to reach out to them. It's knowing that one bad day isn't going to mean a bad week or a bad month or a bad year,
Yeah, one bad day does not define you as a teacher. In fact, we welcome risk-taking, and we want you to fail once in a while, because kids feel that every single day too. And they need to know that we are human, just, and we make mistakes, but at the end of the day, we keep dusting ourselves off and keep going after it. So kudos.
Making it real.
Yeah. And you talked a little bit about your learning network, your PLN. We do it all the time on Twitter. We follow people all around the world who are rock stars. And I'll tell you what, it's free, it's easy, and it's like PD on steroids. Anytime you want it, you can have it. So if you're not involved with it, I say you've got to get out there and experience all the great things that are happening. No doubt about it.
Absolutely.
I'll tell
and
you
then
what,
lend a voice where you can, read something and lend a voice, put some advice in there if you can, and it's never, because the same thing comes back to you. You throw a question out there to the universe and something comes back.
Sure, it sure does. I'll tell you what, Chris, when we're talking about a middle marvel, Stacy sums it up. She got it going on the way it needs to be done in the classroom, outside of the classroom, getting the bigger picture of learning and teaching and collaborating. I'll tell you what, that is what it's all about. Congratulations, Stacy. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Chris, take it.
Yeah, Stacy, you touched on it when you talked about your experience, and I didn't hit it in the bio, but one special fact about you is your participation in that Sophia project. The Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy program from NASA. You were one of 28 educators to be able to be fortunate enough to participate in that camp, and
the only art educator. So it's basically for scientists. People are educators. A lot of them are from museums, and Howie Fain at the school asked me if I wanted to apply with them, and I'm like, I'm an art teacher. They're not going to accept us because it says specifically. And he's like, again, it's like, why not? What's the worst they're going to do? Is say no. Well, they didn't say no. And
I was hoping you would come back around to that why not right there, because if there's no other message for an educator out there or for a student who's watching, the idea of why not needs to be at the forefront of their mind every day that they wake up. What are they going to do to make a difference, make an impact, and change the world? You're a great example of that. I'm so excited to have been able to engage with you tonight with Dean, celebrate you, and help other educators understand not only a little bit about Stacy Lord, but about how they can be like Stacy Lord.
That is what it's all about. If every school had a school filled with people like that, the learning would just take off. And I don't say that. You just when you get it and you have that positivity and that attitude about you, great things happen. Learning takes place, and everybody wins.
Absolutely, they do. Model what you preach. Model it to your students. Let them see how real it is. And you having a bad day, you know what? I tell my students too, I'm having a bad day, just so they see it. And we're all humans. So
great stuff.
Well, hey,
example, the middle marvel right there, Chris.
Absolutely. Middle Marvel segment on Unlock the Middle video cast is coming to an end for tonight. Stacy Lord, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for letting me.
Definitely deserves the applause.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. We'll catch you all on Thursday afternoon. And then again on this coming Sunday, we've got a special lineup for you coming at you on Unlock the Middle. Thanks for joining us. Remember, reach out, visit our website, and recognize a middle marvel in your school or neighborhood. We'd love to chat with them on this platform.
Who's going to be that first state? We want to know what state outside of Massachusetts. I have my money on Nevada. If Nevada can send me somebody tomorrow, you're on for Thursday.
Nice.
Stacy, great